Tony Tip Time. Hey guys, I am Toni Gilliard, your residential and luxury home specialist here in the Charleston, South Carolina market. Here today on this episode, I would love to give you some insight on listing it versus losing it. Many are finding themselves in a tight situation in the COVID-19 era where they may have had some financial hardship, lost an income, lost all income, and have decided to not pay the mortgage because one, it's a decision between eating and job hunting than it is paying your mortgage. If you found yourself in a situation where you've applied for a modification based on hardship and a decision has not been made, and you're about 3 months in when you have not made the mortgage payment, and it's unlikely that you'll be able to put whatever you owe on the back end of the loan, or it's highly likely that your bank is going to ask for those months all at once, and you're in a position where you know that's likely not going to happen, it's always best to consider listing it versus losing it. Why do I say that? Get yourself in a position where you work with a qualified real estate professional. If you happen to be upside down on your mortgage, meaning you owe more than your home is worth, a short sale situation may be something you want to entertain. Myself, I am a short sale and foreclosure resource and certified. There are other professionals in the industry that also have that designation. But even without the designation, there's some of us who are seasoned enough to know how to walk you through the short sale process. So if you find yourself in a situation where you know that you're not going to be able to pay that lump sum up front, and your bank has not made a final decision in writing that they're going to take whatever you owe and put it on the back end of your mortgage, you may want to start considering listing it before you lose it. So while there may be many moratoriums in your state or on a federal level that is preventing foreclosures, banks are definitely in a position to get their process in place so when that event comes and they have to call the note or proceed with foreclosure proceedings, they will do so. Now, some of you may say, well, I'll file for bankruptcy. As a former bankruptcy attorney, I can tell you the bankruptcy will stop the phone calls. It will stop any kind of foreclosure proceedings temporarily. But once that bankruptcy is discharged and your debt is discharged, the banks can still come after you after your bankruptcy is discharged to move forward with the foreclosure process if you have not made some other arrangements. So it's always important to consider listing before you lose it. The same thing goes for those who may have inherited property and you have no mortgage, but you do have tax liabilities, right? So say you're in a position where you own property tax and you can't afford the property tax either. They have delinquent tax sales annually. So if you're in a position where someone has already bid on your property and paid the taxes and you have to, one, pay that fee to catch up on your taxes, as well as that percentage based on the time frame that you decide that you're able to make the payment to avoid those fees as far as interest is concerned, you still have time to put your property on the market. The best way to do that is, one, connecting with a local realtor like myself, hopefully, who can run the comps, or also known as the CMA, run the data to see what price point you would be in based on that information. In knowing what your price point would be, it will arm you with the information necessary to know whether it's business-wise, a business decision, not personal, I don't want to let go of my home, but a business decision, if it's best to list the property, sell it for market value, and in some cases you may end up in a better situation with equity where you have a lump sum of money after the sale and after the commissions and all of those fees, etc., where it can give you a little bit of a leg to stand on, where if you have to rent temporarily, it's giving you access to the cash where you can negotiate a lease term with a landlord to pay up front for 6 months or pay up front for 3 months or pay double security so that you buy yourself time to find gainful employment. It's nothing worse than foreclosing on a property and then you have to wait that time frame before you can actually purchase another. But if you are smart and strategic in your decision making to list your property and sell it, the odds are likely in your favor in this hot market to get market value, get some cash to give you a fresh start, etc., so that you can move on with your life as far as finding gainful employment or starting a new business, but also a lump sum of cash. Now, if you find yourself in a situation where you're neck and neck with selling your property, paying whatever fees are associated with listing the property, then that's a business decision as well. But it's always best to be proactive and first and foremost, knowing what your payoff balance is. Now, most lenders, information is online. If not, a lot of times you can place a phone call to the automated system. And in knowing what your payoff is and connecting with a qualified real estate professional to run the comps or CMA or market report on your particular property, knowing what the likelihood of listing your property as far as price point, that would give you a leeway of knowing what the best decision is for you and your family. Most agents, like myself, we give what is called a net sheet. With that net sheet, I calculate everything down to the bone, and it's an estimated net sheet as far as taxes, attorney fees, deed stamps, commissions, etc. That gives you a realistic idea of what your net is, what your takeaway would be when you leave the table. Now, if you're faced with a situation where in your net sheet with the real estate fees, etc., don't think, oh, well, I can sell it myself and do it for sale by owner to cut the agent out. Because a lot of times, one, you don't price the property well. You're dealing with showings and that kind of thing. And a lot of time with for sale by owners listings, if a buyer's agent is coming to the table, they also want to be compensated for their time for bringing a buyer to you, whatever fee that may be as far as their commission. So you still may be put in a situation where you're upside down. So it's always best to arm yourself with the data. Arm yourself with the comparative market value of your property. That'll give you more of an idea of what you can sell your property for. And if at any point you owe more than your home is worth, you definitely don't want to be a for sale by owner. You definitely want to hire an agent. Why? Because the bank's going to likely pay the realtor's commission, right, for listing the property. The agent is going to be seasoned and experienced enough to put you in the right position for negotiation's sake to fully document your hardship in order to apply for the short sale option if that is an option. So again, it is always best to list it before you lose it. List before you lose it, because it will always get you in a position, for the most part, I should say, where you will be better off in that situation, whether it be short sale or just selling and cashing out, than it would be to foreclose on the property and still be responsible for the deficiency. So I hope you find this information helpful. If you need help and you know it's a short sale situation, feel free to contact me at the information below. If I am not in your market, I can guarantee you I am connected to the source and can put you in contact with the right agent for the right reasons so that they can help you list it before you lose it. So thank you for tuning in with Toni Tip Time. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and there's so much more to come. Be blessed, be smart, be proactive. Have a good one.